Well, I'm Mark Holmes. I'm a hydrogeologist. I've been in Arizona water since 2000 as a hydrogeologist working for the Arizona Department of Water Resources. And then I came up to the town of Chino Valley up here in the northern part of the state and was a water resource director. Since about 2005, when I started with Chino Valley, Del Rio Springs was flowing considerable amount of water. That spring has been reduced significantly. After the AMA was created, the active management area was created by the state and declared an overdraft. In about 2005, we were estimating that there was about a 2-to-1 overdraft occurring. So 2 times what was being replaced was being consumed. Now I think we're approaching somewhere around 3-to-1 overdraft. So part of my concern is, even though we've created an active management area which has the highest regulatory oversight established by the Groundwater Management Act of 1980, we're still seeing increased overdraft. There is still new groundwater being consumed. So there are 5 active management areas in the state of Arizona that primarily reside in the Sun Corridor. Prescott Active Management Area is the northernmost, and it's the Phoenix, Pinal, and the Tucson and Santa Cruz, and then the Pima AMA. And so these active management areas have the highest level of regulatory oversight by the state because they're considered an overdraft, meaning that no new groundwater can be used. This is a very desirable place to live, so demands are increasing substantially. And with that are increased groundwater usage. Chino Valley, the west side of Chino Valley, there are lands that are now permanently dry. And those wells that once were producing water, they're now hauling water from a hauling station in Chino Valley. So that will change your property value, that will change your outlook on your water consumption. So the areas that are being most impacted by groundwater withdrawals and overdraft right now exist in the, I'll call them the aquifer periphery, the boundaries of the aquifer. Where the aquifer is fairly shallow and was shallow or thin, we're now starting to see there's areas that have desperate need, where possibly to keep the economic engine going, keep the health and safety of the region, the communities, the vibrance of the state alive. The key is water. And I think the planning is part of that is new legislation that addresses some of these unique and now dynamic, more challenging water resource management issues, especially in rural Arizona. In the northern part of the Sun Corridor here in the Prescott area of Arizona, it's the top of the Sun Corridor of that 80% of the population that resides. And again, that I think we need to take a tough look at and maybe look at preserving these endangered or very unique dynamic environmental and recreational amenities that we enjoy, like the Upper Verde River. It's a jewel of northern Arizona. It's one of the last flowing rivers of the state. I don't think anybody in the community or the region wants to see it impacted, to be quite honest, but it's a lot of challenges in planning to make sure that it's sustained. The Upper Verde River is really derived primarily from small springs that feed this little stretch of the river until you get down to the Middle Verde, which is primarily a gaining river, primarily through groundwater systems. And there are a lot of straws in that aquifer that are taking water from high density exempt wells to municipal supplies, agricultural, and other. We have environmental impacts as well from climate change or drought, not as much recharge, natural reductions in the amount of recharge. So all of those things drive how much water is in the Upper Verde River, both people and the environment. But it is a very frail system, and it's very sensitive to those impacts. We need that going forward. We need to look 100 years out and how do we plan for our future generations.